Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Down by the river. Good morning, everybody. Look at y'all. Welcome back. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. It flew, didn't it? Didn't it fly by this weekend? You know it did. Quit playing. I ain't kidding. What'd you say, Jed? What? I hear you. Good. Look. One tarnation happened to the weekend. Where'd it go? Jed Clampton on the scene. Hey, Jed, listen. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris, and I tell you all the time, and I mean it. I mean it. First of all, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else in the universe, except maybe Fiji, than right here with y'all right now. I'll tell you why. Why? Because we are in the midst of a miracle. I'm telling you, when we come together, we fulfill one of my favorite promises. Here it is. When two or more of us with the same mindset come together, wonderful things are going to happen. And that's what happens here every day, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Central on Bathrobe Moments, illuminated conversations with illuminated spirits, illuminated souls. And that includes you. That's the bell of purpose. I didn't hit it on accident. You didn't see me like slip and fall. Oh, I just accidentally hit that bell. No, that's the bell of purpose. I use it with purpose. Why? Because everything we do when we mean it, the moment, not even second, less than a second, a moment, the moment we mean it, it becomes meaningful to something or someone somewhere in the universe. So when you hear the bell of purpose on here, on Bathrobe Moments, it means we know you're busy. We're doing all kinds of stuff, right? Multitasking. But when you hear that, that bell has a ring just like the truth. It means lean in, tune in, don't miss this, back the car up. You might want to take a little of this with you. Right? Don't let the smooth taste fool you. Take some of this with you and change the lives of everybody you run into. So, really quickly, you guys, just, I don't like, that's the thing about the news, but it's still nonetheless, this is real. We want to send light, love, and prayers to all the people that were affected the past few days. I'm speaking, of course, the storms, the devastating tornadoes that started late Friday and early Saturday across parts of the central and southern United States. These tornadoes collapsed buildings into twisted debris and claimed quite a few lives. Actually, officials are fearing that the death toll could easily exceed 80 casualties. In Kentucky alone, the state's governor says more than 70 people could have died after one of the toughest nights in Kentucky history. Now, among the most significant damage, tornadoes or strong winds collapsed an occupied candle factory. Perhaps you heard about that in Kentucky. And apparently they had a tornado fallout shelter, if you will, but it wasn't adequate enough or something happened. It was an Amazon warehouse also in Western Illinois that had some trouble, and a nursing home in Arkansas, killing people in each community and leaving responders scrambling to rescue the others. I'm sure you've seen all about it, but let's all send some light, love, and prayer. Let's not just put some prayer hands on the screen. Let's actually, put some prayer from our spirits, from our souls into the atmosphere. Let's do that, can we? Whew, these are times, y'all. These are real times. We're living right now in times where, these things are going to happen. But you know what? We can make a difference by telling our stories, by coming together like we are here, remembering and reminding each other of what we can do to make this world a better place. Can I get an amen? Listen, one more thing I wanted to share with y'all real quick before we get our guest in. This time last week, and I caught a cold. Here, when I got off the plane last Tuesday morning from out in Hollywood, LA, where I met today's guest, it was 25 degrees here in Chicago. I don't think I ever get used to that first one. It's that first one. Give me a couple weeks into it, snow and stuff. I'm good. I love it. I love the Four Seasons, and I love the Midwest. I love me some Ben Harbor. We're going to talk about Ben Harbor here in a minute. Y'all know what Ben Harbor is. That's where I'm from. And wait till I tell you who else is from there. Y'all going to be shocked. But look at this. Look at this, you guys. I wanted to share this with you. I met this young man that we're going to meet today. He's an incredible young man. It was after I had finished the photo shoot. I had finished it, but he came in. Here's a little taste. Y'all might have seen this on the page. Take a look. This is what we were doing this day last week out in Hollywood. That was so much fun. Okay, there's our guy. Ugo. Great time with Heart of Hollywood, y'all. Yes, it was. Yeah, so that's what we were doing this time last week. But today, I brought this young man. Wow, an actor. He's from my hometown. We found that out on the way to the airport. He gave me a ride to the airport. Bless him for that. And just the way we're going to talk about purpose today and a whole bunch of other things with my guest, who is King Jaquell Martin. Now, he was born, like I just told you, in Benton Harbor, Michigan, where I'm from, right? Out of all the places. This little big town this big. That's purpose, y'all. That's purpose. He was born on August 5th, a month and a day after me. I was born on July 4th. Boy, it just gets better and better. Also, fellow veterans, King Jaquell Martin. He's a veteran, that's right, of the U.S. Army. Don't hold that against him. I know. Air Force is all there really is. But anyway, hungry and humble is the motto that King lives by. If you consistently put in the work, results will come. He's discovered acting in high school, but he didn't pursue it until he retired from the Army. He's made his television debut on Wives with Knives, which I don't like the name of that. Wives with Knives, which aired on the Investigation Discovery Channel. I'm sure it did. Then he was cast for a principal role in the voiceover on a Bank of America commercial. Now, he's currently pursuing a career as a director at the New York Film Academy in Los Angeles. Why isn't it just the Los Angeles Film Academy if it's in Los Angeles? Okay. King is established. He's an established writer. He has a book, and his book is entitled A War on Friendly Grounds, which was adapted into a short film, which has won 20-some awards at film festivals all over. This is going to bridge the gap, he hopes, between the public and the police. We're going to talk about that, and wait till you see the trailer for this and his 2 movies we're going to see the trailers on today. So I'm not going to even play around with it anymore like we say at home in Ben Harbor. We can show you better than we can tell you. We can show you. Listen, first timer, y'all, he probably a little scared. You know, he a actor and all, but you know them younger, they be scared. So anyway, I don't think so. I'm not this one. But put your hearts into the screen, won't you? On the screen, put your hearts into today's conversation so that it can be illuminated from all directions, from top to bottom, bottom to top, side to side, side to side, corner to corner, and corner to corner. Only way we can do that is if we all come together. And here he comes. Here he comes, King Jaquell Martin, y'all. Put some love on the screen. You know what? I had to click out. Wait a minute. You done took the StreamYard, the show guest link, and who you give it to? All your family?
Of course.
Well, they ain't supposed to get that link.
Oh,
they backstage like they coming on the show.
No, they just listening and enjoying.
Come on, Shirley, come on in.
Oh, hey!
The queen in. It's good to meet you, Lauren. Hey,
who is this?
This is his mama.
My mom.
Quit playing.
Yeah. Hey, beautiful.
I'm Shirley Ann, his mama.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're here. We were talking in the car. Wait a minute. Well, who's T. Lee?
That's a family. That's one of my friends I went to high school with. They
backstage too.
She's just listening.
That was for you. The other one is the promo with you. You lucky Shirley here, because I'd have said, you sure you ain't one of Baby's kids? I'm just kidding. Remember that back in the hood?
Yeah, back in the day.
Ben Harbor. Shirley, unmute yourself. Say hello to everybody. I just want to tell you, you don't have to hang around if you want to, but it's nice you're on the screen with your baby. How's it feel? Have you shared the screen with him before?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm dealing with someone that is of greatness. And, you always roll where greatness is. And so obviously you of greatness because he's there on your show.
Wow. You got a good mom. Look at.
I do.
Yeah. I'm proud of him.
She might be your cousin.
Might be. We're in there still trying to figure that out, y'all. Listen.
Yeah, right.
Shirley, tell me something. Way back when you had your roots in Benton Harbor, Michigan, just like all of us here did. What were your hopes for the future for you and for your offspring?
Well, so I was a teenage mom, and my hopes were to present to my children first and foremost the importance and the power of having God in their lives, and therefore they can do and be anything. We did really well there, and I joined the Army because I wanted to provide them more. I wanted to provide them travel. I wanted to provide them exposure outside of Benton Harbor, and those aspirations and things are actually manifesting.
Yeah, as they will. That's what I said. When you mean something, it becomes what? Meaningful. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you. Just wanted to give you your flowers. And
thank you.
And thank you for even though he didn't know no better, he wouldn't share this out with everybody. But we're gonna let you go so you can watch the rest of it. He get all shy when you around, and I
absolutely. Just put me in the back room and I will watch the remainder of the show.
And we're gonna get you in here one of these days on your own, Shirley, because you got quite a story yourself.
Oh, absolutely. No worries. And then when I pull my blog talk back up, I'll bring you on that side of things. Radio is radio.
You let me know.
I got it. All right. All right,
Yay. There was his mama, y'all. That was Miss Shirley Ann. So, King, Say hello
Yes,
to
sir.
everybody. Why don't you tell them where you're at in the world? Because I know it's the crack of dawn there. Say hello.
First of all, good morning, everybody. It's great to be in your presence right now. It's actually 6:15 in the morning. Sorry about that. Got a phone call. It's actually 6:15 in the morning. I was looking at the countdown, and I'm like, man, that's for me. I'm really on Lawrence's show right now. God, everything comes right on time. So, like, when you hit that purpose bell, it's for a purpose. It's for a reason, and I'm grateful. Y'all better put on y'all seatbelts because we about to have a lot of fun.
Yes, we are. Yes, indeed. So, where should we? Well, let's start. Let's start with little Jaquell. You know, the boy version. When you were just a lad, pick any age.
Right.
When did you start dreaming about the life you have today back then, or did that come later in life?
That's a great question. Actually, I was always the captain of the football team when I was little.
My God, me too. No, no,
See,
I was actually a cheerleader. Now there's a surprise.
hey,
I was.
live your best life.
Huh?
I said, live your best life. You got to.
There you go.
So I never knew my father, right?
Oh.
And in that, it put me in a position of always wanting to be the captain or always wanting to be the leader. So I've been a leader and I've been outspoken my whole life. So growing up playing different sports, me being in the captain position has always groomed me to speak. In high school, I got into acting and it was such a passion of mine. I loved it, but I was amazing at sports. So I chose sports over acting. So I wound up going into the military. And after the incident that happened to me, it put me back into the purpose that I am right now. So you know how they say, Lawrence, sometimes God speaks to you, he talks to you, he yells at you to get your attention. I had to be swallowed by the belly of the beast to get put into the position I am in right now.
Okay, the belly of the beast, swallowed by. So we know that you're skirting around the outskirts of something traumatic, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Well, set it up for us. What year did this take place and where? And then go right in.
Okay, so in June 1999 is when I decided to join the military. My first duty station, or let's go back to basic training. I did basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia. From there, I went to AIT. When I was at AIT, that was at Fort Sam Houston. After Fort Sam Houston, I wound up getting my first duty station at Fort Hood. From Fort Hood, I went to Landstuhl, Germany. And after Landstuhl, Germany, I got stationed at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. So this was in October 2015 when I was wrongfully assaulted by the military. When I was wrongfully assaulted by the police in my military uniform.
Wrongfully assaulted by the police in your military uniform. Okay, this would be a great spot to share the. Now set this up. You wrote a book. You wrote the book called A War on Friendly Grounds, which then adapted into the screenplay for the short film, which is, how many awards has it won?
It's been selected in 27 film festivals also so far in counting.
27. Wow. And so this, we're going to see a short, I think a 1-minute trailer for the movie, which of course was adapted from the book. So you're getting it all in one little piece. Take a look.
All right.
Thank you guys. I really, really appreciate this. So I'm not really big on speeches, but let's have some cake. Come on. Woo.
There, Shirley's baby.
Welcome home, soldier.
Good to be home, sir.
Well, you put your life on the line for this country. And that's what makes you brave.
The truth is, I just really wanted my battle buddies to get back home safe.
Hold on. Officer Clark here.
Hey.
Oh my God. You about to call the question.
Hey, you. Come here.
I'm here to help you, sir.
Hey, is this your vehicle?
Yeah, no!
I want to know if you married me.
Look at you grinning. Okay. So what happened there? The ring was on the ground. I mean, okay, how much is this creative stuff because we want it to be, you know, like on the screen? Okay, tell us what happened. Take us through it. Take us through it. You're on your way. Okay, you got out of bed that morning.
Yes. I went to work like a normal day. I was taking care of my soldier PFC Carlisle. And that day was like any other day, which I thought. and I was on my way home. I just finished doing a uniform inspection. So I lived in Quail Run Apartments in Fort Jackson, South Carolina, in Columbia. I lived maybe like 2, maybe 3 miles away from the base. When I entered my apartment complex, I saw a police officer's car that was already there. No big deal, nothing out of the normal. Now, mind you, I was very popular in the neighborhood. I used to play semi-pro football, and I used to take all the kids to my football games. They would hold the down markers. They would bring us Gatorade. Shout out to the Carolina Titans. Coach Jackson, love you, bro.
Hey.
You know? And so as we're going around in the neighborhood, the police officer's car was right in front of me, and he starts going towards my home. And as he's going towards my home, you know, the parking lots are shaped like a rectangle, right? And so as he enters the rectangle and turns around, I enter the rectangle. And eventually when we became parallel, I acknowledged him by nodding my head. In his police report, he wrote that he felt like I was teasing him by bobbing my head. How he felt that way, it's not for my judgment. It's not for me to speak on. So I go to my parking lot. I get out the car. I walk towards the door. As I'm putting my keys in the door, I hear a car peel off. So naturally, I turn around to see what's going on. The officer runs up on me. Hey, you. I'm out here for a noise violation. Now, mind you, I had a police officer that lived above me in the fourplex for the apartment complex. I said, how can I help you, officer? He said, I'm out here for a noise violation. Give me your license and registration. Well, I said, well, it couldn't have been me, officer. I just got home. So I handed him my documents, right? Now, I lost my picture license in Germany. So the Alaska DMV, because I graduated high school in Alaska, they gave me a paper license. So when I handed the officer the paper license, he was like, well, what the hell is this? I said, dude, if you would just calm down. I'm a soldier. I just got back from Germany. You will not address me as dude. I'm a Richland County officer of the law. Okay. I'm sorry. Well, you addressed me by hey, you. He's like, well, that's because I don't know your name. Well, hell, I don't know your name either. And next thing I know, the officer takes me and slams me down to the ground. Starts punching me.
Started punching you?
Yeah. The police officer's mother's watching the whole situation. Her daughter wasn't home.
Oh, you're talking about the police officer upstairs.
Yes. So there's the cop named Officer Benjamin Fields, who was the same officer who slammed the young lady in the classroom in Spring Valley High School in South Carolina. Same officer. That officer is the officer that stopped me. Officer Going's mother, she lived up above me. So her daughter wasn't home during the time. She was at work. So when her mother saw Officer Benjamin Fields punching me or whatever else, she runs downstairs to go get my wife at the time. She was studying to be a nurse. Now, mind you, she was a former soldier too. She went to Iraq. She was, served just as well. Mm-hmm. So she knocks on the door. There's an officer outside assaulting your husband. There's an officer outside assaulting your husband. So when she runs outside, the officer is on top of me and he's talking about how he's welcome to the South, how he's glad Johnny Cochran's dead. I'm nothing but another black statistic. And so I see my wife come out and I'm like, hey, stay back. I'm okay. So the officer panicked. Now I have women and children from the neighborhood coming out watching this officer assault me in my military uniform. I'm telling her that I'm calm and I'm okay. When he heard that I told her that I was okay, he became even more violent. And so he started kneeing me in my stomach and he took out a whole can of mace. And he used a whole can of mace on me. So what I did was what I was trained to do as a soldier. You close your eyes, you hold your breath. So now I'm laying on the ground, face buried in my arms to protect my eyes, holding my breath. And he has one hand handcuffed behind my back like this, right? So as I'm on the ground or whatever else, protecting myself, he accuses me of being on drugs because I didn't react like the normal civilian. But the normal civilian doesn't go through basic training to know how to handle situations like this, right?
Right.
So he became more violent. And so when he sees all the women and children watching, he gets on the radio, 1032, officer in distress. Now, mind you, I understand why the other officers responded the way they responded. But when they got to the scene in their training, they're supposed to evaluate the situation before they react. Now, my wife at the time had her cell phone out, and this is in 2005, right?
I just want to, because I wrote that down because, nowadays that seems to be an important part of all these type situations, the cell phone footage. So was there any?
So there wasn't footage during that time because videos weren't big. Social media wasn't really big in 2005. So she took pictures because remember she had a flip phone. She had a flip phone. Remember the flip phone?
Yeah, they're coming back.
Right?
Right.
The Nokia. She had the Nokia flip phone.
Yeah.
So she flips the phone up and then she's taking pictures of the situation, right? So she took like 12 to 15 pictures of what happened with this officer on top of me. When the other officers, his supervisor, Deputy Joseph Clark, he was like, get her black ass. She has pictures of me. So they run up on my wife. They slam her into the car. They put her hand behind her head. She drops her cell phone. He handcuffs her, kicks her legs apart, and he handcuffs her. Now that she's detained, I'm already on the ground, right? It's one thing for a man to get assaulted. It's another thing to watch your wife get assaulted in front of you, and there's nothing that you can do about it. And if you do something about it, it could cost you and your wife your life.
Literally.
Right? So now she's detained. After she's detained, he picks her up by the back of her arms and body slams her into the ground, face first, handcuffed. You know, we read about slavery growing up in high school. It's another thing to actually experience going through something like that, right? So I'm on the ground and I feel like a slave because I'm chained, you know, and there's nothing that I can do to protect my wife as a husband. But when I gave my vow was to protect her. But I can't do anything. It's one thing to be a black man in America and be assaulted because of the color of your skin. It's another thing to be a black man in America and watch your wife get assaulted in front of you, and there's nothing that you can do about it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so Lauren, not only did they assault her, they sexually harassed her in front of me, acting as if they were looking for weapons. Multiple officers. Now, police training, notice I did the air quotes because I want y'all to understand about the training part, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to use the back of your hands. When a female officer comes to the scene, you're supposed to allow the female officer to search her, right? Didn't happen. Multiple male officers searched her and groped her while they were looking for a weapon. So they put me in the back of the car. They put her in the back of the car. I asked for the cell phone. Now, the female officer, my neighbor who lived above me, she was there. I said, Officer Goins, can you get the cell phone? It has pictures of us. Officer Benjamin Fields runs over, grabs the cell phone, and he goes to a supervisor, Joseph Clark, and he shows them the pictures. He said, hey, we'll give you the pictures back if you delete it. Excuse me, we'll give you your phone back if you delete the pictures. Hell no, that's our evidence. Absolutely not. So he goes through the phone and he starts deleting pictures. And there was only 2 pictures left. One of the pictures looked just like this, right? This is how I created the book cover because this is actually one of the pictures of the officer on top of me, right? So because he used mace on me, EMS had to come to the scene. When EMS arrived to the scene, they were like, man, we should have known it was Officer Benjamin Fields because he has a history of it. He has a history of it. He did it in the future because he assaulted the young lady that was in the classroom at Spring Valley High School when she was sitting in the desk and she slammed her on her head and threw her across the classroom.
I remember that.
Same guy. The reason why he was in the classroom was because of what he did to me and my wife, right? So I say, I don't want no medical care. Don't touch us because I want to get it all documented, right? I work in the hospital. I want the hospital to document all of our injuries. I want them to document every little single detail. So when the paddy wagon arrives, they take me out the police car.
So why are you being arrested?
He tried to throw spaghetti on the wall. Noise violation, disturbance of the peace, assault on an officer while resisting arrest.
And your wife, was she also arrested?
Yes.
What were her charges?
Same thing, assault on an officer, disturbance of the peace and assault on an officer.
Okay, so you both end up going in the paddy wagon to the lockup, let's say. How did that all turn? Did you actually?
1 second. So when they was putting us in the back of the paddy wagon, Officer Benjamin Fields tells my wife he's going to take her to the hotel. Now we know down south everybody don't make it to the police station. So I said, "What did you say to her?" "You heard me." And he slams the door of the paddy wagon. The officer in the front of the paddy wagon actually wrote a statement because he heard the threat to my wife to take her to the hotel. So sometimes I really appreciate, not sometimes, God always puts somebody in the right place when you need them. So the officer wrote a statement for me. So we go downtown. I'm in my military uniform. I'm being fingerprinted and taking a mugshot in my military uniform. I'm watching my wife be fingerprinted, taking a mugshot. People in there was like, man, they're doing this to soldiers. I know we don't stand a chance. So we got a chance to call her aunt, who happened to be a lawyer, because you get one phone call. We wind up getting out on bail in the morning. Jarrell's mother, in the middle of the arrest, she comes out. She's like, "What are you guys doing to them? They haven't done anything." Joseph Clark said that his.
I assume Jarrell is the person upstairs.
No, it was one of my neighbors. It was one of the kids who was watching me get assaulted.
Okay.
So, she said, "What are you doing to them? They haven't done anything. If you don't get your black ass back, we're gonna take you to jail too."
So let's for the sake of the time today, how did this all turn out? What? I mean, obviously there's a lot more to the story because there's a book and a movie. So did you go to jail, or did you get out and go to court, and that was the end of it?
I got out, went to court. The military turned their back on me. Took 4 years, 2000, because I went to court. It took 4 years for me to finally go to court. I went to the NAACP and I asked them for help. They said, "How much money are you donating?" Really? I'm cool. I don't even want your help.
No, wait. When you say took 4 years, you went to court because you filed against them.
No, that was for my criminal charges. So I had to defend myself.
It took that long?
It took 4 years for us to get to court. The Army turned their back on me. You know how they say you're innocent until proven guilty? That's not how it works for us. So I got treated like I was guilty. I got illegally flagged. Article 15. These are all different type of military punishments that you receive.
You got an Article 15?
Yes, I did.
Before you were found guilty?
Yes, I did. And that's why the military was so scared of what they did to me once I was found not guilty. I went to the NAACP, like I said, Rainbow Push, the ACLU, all these different organizations couldn't get me help. Went to court. The police lied so bad that they were about to be held in contempt of court. We were found not guilty on the highest verdict of not guilty on all charges, which leads to the civil suit. The judge for Tasha, my ex's lawsuit, she wound up losing her lawsuit because they said that she was too close when she took the pictures. The judge admitted to knowing the head juror. The head juror's dad helped build the courthouse. Mm-hmm. But legally, the judge should know no one in the jury pool. But it's crazy because everybody knew each other. So she lost her case. When it came to my suit, my lawyer, John Mobley, tricked me out of my lawsuit. Well, how did he trick you out your lawsuit? He told me if I dropped the assault charge that I could make money, a whole bunch of money off of all the other charges, from slander, me losing my marriage credit, all these other things, right? And I was like, well, can I call my mom before I sign this paperwork? He's like, no, this is a time thing. So me not knowing the law, that's why I'm proud of Colin Kaepernick for saying, know your rights. I signed the paperwork and they threw my case out. Mm-hmm. So me and my mom filed a malpractice suit, tried to get to the United States Supreme Court, and we're waiting for the United States Supreme Court to actually hear my case because I've never went to court for my civil suit.
So what was the deal with this officer with the throwing on the ground and the macing and all of that? Was it ever established as to the motive?
My skin color.
And so how long were you in the military after this incident?
I wound up getting out July 2009. 2009.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And as you guys, as you hear me say all the time, nothing is ever about just one thing. So we see here clearly proof of this concept, because it wasn't just about what you went through and in some ways are still going through, but you've taken it, turned it into a message. So let's talk about the book, because it came first. The chicken or the egg, the book or the movie, the book. So why was it important to you, King, to write the book? We're going to, here's what we're going to do. I want you to think about that question. Why did you write the book, and who did you write the book for? When we come back from this brief commercial break, you guys have some questions and comments ready if you'd like. And we're going to find out what the book is all about and how did it lead to a movie and a couple other things too. Don't you go away. Great time to share the broadcast out. We'll be right back. Welcome back to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris. And before we get our guest today back in, King Jaquell Martin, I wanted to give you a little tidbit of a tip. This V8 I gave up about 7 months ago, Diet Coke, Red Bull, and a bunch of other drinks that weren't serving me, and chose to do better, 1 can at a time. Today, I get my 2 servings of vegetables through this baby right here. It's V8. This can 100% vegetable juice, pure from concentrate, 60 calories. One of my favorite parts about this. Not to mention, it tastes great. Easy to find. Just head down the juice aisle in your local grocer. And then you can do like me. I don't have to say, oops, I could have had a V8 because, as you clearly see, I just had some. There it is, V8. Grab yours today. Welcome back to the show, King. You were telling us a lot of stuff. We set it up in a great way. Thank you for that. About your situation. And we're going to talk about the book, A War on Friendly Grounds. First of all, let's talk about that title, A War on Friendly Grounds. Exactly what are you talking about when you say that?
As a soldier, it's my job to go to foreign lands and fight for my country. At the end of the film, little spoiler alert, I said, America, aren't you tired of seeing this? I put my life on the line for a country that doesn't love me back for the color of my skin. And the real question is, who's going to protect me when I come back home? Because you promised me freedom, liberty, and justice. But I ain't never seen none of the 3. So how can we build a bridge to fix this situation? Because it has to happen, and everybody deserves the opportunity to win. And so that's what inspired the book. Mr. Ryan Coogler, Mr. Michael B. Jordan, they did Fruitvale Station.
Mm-hmm.
Did an interview with Colin Kaepernick's girlfriend, Nessa, and shout out to her. Thank you so much for the interview on Hot 97. Chris Como, Jake Tapper, anyone has allowed me the opportunity to speak, Roxy, and Colin Kaepernick started the Know Your Rights program. It is so important for us to know our rights because for everyone who looks like me, we are more than an amendment. But the way this system is structured, we're an amendment. Because when they wrote it as 3/5 or someone else's property. And then they had to go back to make an amendment for us. What I mean by that, Lauren, real quick, can I come to your house and tell you what to do?
Yeah. As long as you want to get hit in the face with a waffle iron. I'm
Right.
not. Don't send me any hate mail. I'm a joke. No, you cannot, or you should not. But
Of course.
you can try. Doesn't mean you're going to get away with it.
Right. And you might say, hey, Lauren, can I use your bathroom? Sure, King. Can I get something to eat? Sure, King.
Yeah.
But the day I do something out of bounds that's disrespectful to you, I have no power. So you made an amendment in your home to allow me to do certain things. But the day that you want that to change, I'm powerless. That's how 2 people in the same state can do the same crime and one person gets counseling and the other person gets a maximum sentence.
Now, King, this incident and all of the surrounding activity was pre-George Floyd, pre-Breonna Taylor, that sort of thing. The list goes on and on. That's just 2 of the many names. Tell us, if you could, let's talk about this. how did it make you feel after watching one example after another, getting worse and worse? How did it make you feel about your situation when you started seeing these people actually lose their lives and the onslaught of people capturing it on cell phones?
Hit the bell.
Oh,
Hit the bell.
there it is.
I got into an argument with God because I wanted to die. Why you keep
literally or figuratively? I mean, were you suicidal?
No, not suicidal. Wasn't suicidal.
Okay.
But just figuratively, because I had to question him. Why'd you keep me here? Am I not doing enough? Why do I have to continue to see this happen to my people? What else can I do? God, I've written a book. God, I'm doing the movie. I'm working on building a bridge between the public and the police. What else can I do to create a bridge so this can stop consistently, right? And I'm human, so I want to be honest with y'all, right? So I reached out to Lieutenant Cesar Navarro, the young man that got pepper sprayed. When he got pepper sprayed at the gas station, you know how many people call me, yo, that's your story. Yo, this happened to you. Yo. And I know they didn't, I know they meant well. I know it came from a loving place. It's so triggering. And I'm so happy that he got his justice. And in our conversation, I was like, man, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm so happy you got your justice, but it's like sweet and sour sauce for me. Because honestly, I can't wait for the day that I get my justice, because it happened to me in 2005. And here we are going into 2022, and I still ain't had an opportunity just to get my justice, bro. I just want justice. That's it, America.
So how about this one? There's been a lot of talk over the last few years regarding defunding the police. How do you feel about that?
Absolutely. I think we need to restructure the whole system. I think personally that how can we racism out of something that was born from racism? Now, all cops are not racist. I have family members that are cops. Cops have the right to make it home safely. Cops have the right to do their job based off of the rules and their training. But when you are not following the rules, and when you are not doing what you were trained as a police officer, you are no longer a cop. You're a bully. You're a murderer. And you should be tried as such.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So now I want to go back. I'm going to back up. Let's go back down the same sidewalk, a couple slabs, and talk about fellow veterans, not just of color.
Yes.
Veterans.
Yes.
You know, all bleeding red, all defending the red, white, and blue.
Yes.
Let's talk about those colors. There are many veterans displaced, disenfranchised, that are targets of all kinds of things.
Yes.
They're a big part of the homeless problem.
Yes.
So let's talk about that too, because, you know, we have fellow veteran brothers and sisters who, you know, they may not have gone through what you went through with the actual police, but they're still invisible after coming home, after serving and putting everything they have on the line. And it's not talked about nearly enough. So how's that? What kind of conversations are you having today with people about this, including, you know, people of color, but everybody?
Notice I purposely took my head off. First of all, I want to salute all my veteran brothers. I love you.
You were, soldier.
Thank you.
Me too.
I feel like America has lied to us. I feel like we've been lied to. I feel like we've been bamboozled. We're a country that when we come back home from war, there is nothing for us. It's so hard to get medical care. The VA system is so backed up, and my brothers and sisters are waiting to get care. See, it's all patriotism when we're fighting, when we're putting our life on the line, and, you know, our battle buddy might not come back home. Our battle buddy just got shot, blown up, all these different things. Nothing prepares you for war.
No.
Nothing can deprogram you from the smell of blood, from watching your battle buddy be injured. Nothing prepares you from that. To come back home and not be able to receive your benefits, to come back home and tell me that I'm only worth a 10% discount, and not even every place gives a military discount. How dare you?
Oh, and let's talk about that. Let's talk about the treatment it's because it just kind of popped back up for me when you were like, you said, and I quote, the military turned their back on me. And I know you're right about it, because I kind of had something like that happen once when they did that. So what do we do about that? I mean, it's something that a lot of people would never see coming, would never expect that kind of treatment to be poured upon our military soldiers, but nonetheless, it happens.
Yeah.
Why do you think it happens? What and why is it? You know, Jack Young. I do work with Jack Young, and he's got his company works with the community, you know, to get the community to accept us back, you know, the people that are coming back into civilian life. How was that for you? Because you finished out your term, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm still fighting to get my back pay for my 100%. So when I got put out the military tried to put me out with 0%.
So wait a minute, you said you got put out, or did you run out? Did your enlistment run out?
I got an honorable discharge, so they put me out.
And why did they do that?
Because they was afraid of what they did to me, and they knew I could prove it, so they had to get rid of me. I was denied surgery. My mom was a first sergeant in the military. Thank God for my mother. She drove down from Fort Lee, Virginia every weekend to try to take care of me because of what the treatment and I was receiving from the military. So I was blackballed. I wrote and took all my paperwork and I sent it to the White House. I went to the Post General. Now, mind you, I was a medical soldier. So the same people that did my med board were the same people I was writing congressionals against. So how can I get a fair med board when I'm writing congressionals against the people who have to do my medical paperwork on the way out? So they tried to put me out the military with a 0% discharge. My mom came down and we went to the Post General. I dropped the packet off on his desk. I told him that I sent it to the White House. Sir, you're accountable for everything that happens on your post. Now you can't say you didn't know. And I showed him the documentation. I went from a 0% discharge to a 70% discharge out the military, honorably. My 6 months evaluation, guess what I had to come back to? The same people. So they took me from 70% and they dropped me to 30%.
Wow.
My mom took me to this place called CEO Space. This is where my life changed.
Yep.
CEO Space was the #1 entrepreneur conference in the world. Shout out to Mr. Bernie Durham, who is no longer here. Mm-hmm. And I thank my mom for forcing me to go because I was in a dark place, because I went from being married to divorce. I went from having a career to no career. I went from being, having my own household to my mom moving in with me to protect me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because I was receiving death threats. So when I got to CEO Space, I had a medical invention, and I'm able to speak to the youth and to adults that do business. So I met this young lady. Her name was Goddess Lahadi, is what I call her. Her real name is Myrna Grant. She's no longer here. God rest her soul. White lady, changed my life. I don't know her from Adam. She walks up to me and she puts her hand on my stomach. Now, mind you, that's weird to me. Like, Lauren, can I touch your hair? But different cultures do different things.
I ain't got none.
Me neither. Bald head gang. So she puts her hand on my stomach and she says, "Baby, you don't know who you are yet, do you?" I said, she says, "You got to give birth to that." I said, "Ma'am?" She says, "Who? You look like you play sports." I said, "I do." She says, "I'm not trying to be racist. Just by the way you're built, you look like you play sports." I said, "Yes, ma'am."
I get that all the time.
She said, "Who your favorite basketball player?" Shout out to rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. She said, "Tell me about Kobe Bryant." I said, "Oh, he went to Laura Marion High School, got drafted by the Hornets, got traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. He has 5 championship rings. He scored 62 versus Dallas, 81 versus Toronto." She said, "Oh, you know a lot about Kobe, baby. What's your stats?" Mm-hmm. I said, "Ma'am, you mean to tell me you know everything about Kobe Bryant, but you don't know who you are in your own life? Look around and everything you see, baby, is somebody else's dream. Mm-hmm. You mean that you're going to participate in everyone else's dream, but you're not going to make your dream a reality?" And I never had nobody talk to me like this. And it started shifting my mindset of how I thought. She says, "Do you understand in business and a plantation is the same thing? Because on a plantation, you have a slave driver, master. In business, you got a worker bee, manager, CEO. The structure is the same. The question is, what plantation are you working for today? Is it McDonald's or is it Google? Right. And there's nothing wrong with it if it aligns with your purpose. But ain't it crazy how you can be disciplined for someone else's dream, but you don't have the same discipline for your dream?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. Before we get too far away from the situations that happened, I want to ask you this question because I know someone out there is most likely hoping that this question is addressed. So let's just go there really quick. Lee, PTSD. We hear a lot about it. Always have, in as much as it pertains to veterans and the things that we go through. In your particular case, however, where do you feel your PTSD? Because first of all, I guess I should ask: do you feel you suffer from PTSD?
Absolutely.
And if so, okay, so if we were, weighing it up, like at the butcher shop, which would you say is more responsible for the PTSD that you are dealing with today? The experience with the police, or the experience with the military, or that third one, which is all of those and then some?
All the above, but the root of it started with the police, because this is how this whole journey began. But like you said, purpose, bing, it happened for a purpose. I call it a horrible blessing, because that situation, despite my condition or whatever else, took me and put me in where I am right now. I would still be in the military if this didn't happen to me. I wouldn't have a book. I wouldn't be the speaker that I am. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be doing films or directing, or I went from wrongfully getting assaulted by the police to booking HBO ballers, and in that time span, that's nothing but God doing what he wanted to do and me walking this path. And I just thank him that I was able to carry this burden that I'm carrying, because it's not easy.
Well, a lot of people probably are wondering, you have the book, you have the movie, this is your platform, this is what you're speaking to because you're living your truth. Yes. What do you feel needs to happen? Because the stories keep piling up. They've always been. They most likely always will be. But where do we find the breaker box that's going to pull that lever and really move the needle of change? What do you see? Where do you see, if you see that happening?
UNITY. Unity. Mm-hmm. We can't do nothing divided. It takes every single color in the crayon box to create a beautiful picture. And if you're actually really tired of seeing it, I'm tired of lip service, let's unite to do something about it. See, unity stitched in love, because love conquers all. And what I understand is America keeps creating these different narratives to keep us divided. But with unity and love, that will be the antivirus to the system of oppression.
So do you have any kids?
Do I have kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have 2 boys.
How do you talk to your kids about their relationship with authority? An authority, I say, in case they're going into the military, in case they're going into corporate America, in case they're, wherever they're at. But really, authority, the police and that sort of thing, because a lot of parents, especially parents of African-American men in particular, but now women too, girls too, are afraid for their kids. What kind of conversation do you have with your children regarding how to deal with these?
It's an unfair conversation that I should never
found yourself in.
It's an unfair conversation that I shouldn't have to have with my children. No,
true,
why do you say that? Because I shouldn't have to instill fear of them being born.
Should they? Okay, let's go back to the day when it happened with you. The way you responded. Even in the clip, it showed, and I know that was purposeful. When he knocked on the window, you were all smiles, because that's really who you are. So yeah. I don't doubt that was exactly what happened. But just from speaking with your mother that day last week in the car, and again today, I have to believe that she's the kind of mom that groomed you.
Yeah.
Just such an occasion.
Yeah.
Okay. So so you were groomed and it still happened.
Yeah,
is my point. What do you say now with that? You've got that boot print on your face from experience. How do you get it across to your kids without sounding malicious, without sounding us and them? If we're going to have unity, let me hear how that sounds.
Well, first and foremost, I explain my situation to my children and what happened to me. And I let my children know that one moment doesn't define your whole life. You know, and I think that's very important.
Great
At the
point.
same time, it's very important to carry yourself in a professional manner. It's very important to be able to understand who you are. Don't walk around with your pants all sagging. You are your own brand. And how do you want yourself to be represented? Because whether you like it or not, people are judging you by your appearance. So how you carry yourself, how you articulate yourself, how you display your emotional intelligence is important.
True.
Yeah,
True.
I think that is the key of emotional intelligence and having emotional discipline and not allowing someone else to trigger you, because people purposely try to trigger you to put you in harmful situations.
Yeah.
So make sure that you keep your emotions in check, because you know who you are and can't no one else, press the easy button.
When was the last time you were pulled over by the police or had a police confrontation, police contact? How long ago? Anything since that day?
Maybe 2 weeks ago.
That was really?
Yeah.
So when you get stopped or you have police contact, what is the very first thing that happens? Is there a trigger? Does your heart start pounding? What say again?
I'm scared out of my mind, but I can't show that. But I can't show that.
Right.
Because if I show that, then what's wrong with him? He's nervous. That.
Right. What's he guilty of?
Exactly.
Right,
so
right.
I have to display what I just said, my emotional intelligence. Even though I'm scared out of my mind, I'm smiling.
Do you ever speak as a speaker to kids about this type of situation?
Oh, that's what I'm working on right now.
Okay.
I can't wait to touch these stages.
Okay. Awesome. So, but that's going to be a real thing of clay that you're going to have to really form and be, you know what I'm saying? Because but I know if anybody can do it, it'll be you. So, listen, you guys, on the bottom of the screen, you'll see King Jaquell Martin. That's his IG. If you want to visit, and I know you do, to learn more, continue the dialogue, ask some questions, make some comments. Here is where you go. KingJaquell.com is on your screen. Follow that. And again, for those of you with bad eyesight like me, that little thing across the bottom, I'm like, what's that? There it is. I blew it up. King Jaquell Martin is the IG for you. Again, before we get out of here, I want to remind you all, AmazonSmile.com. Please get over. I know we all shop on Amazon. If you type in AmazonSmile.com, it's going to connect it to your Amazon account, which is your regular account. Pick your nonprofit that you love. Type it in. It's going to come up. Every time you buy, they get some money to help their cause. It doesn't change anything. Yes, a lot of people don't know about that. AmazonSmile.com. Give all year, not just this time of year. And listen, I want to get you back again, perhaps you and your mom, to come in and talk about the mother-son dynamic and what's it like to have a son of color in this day and age, and what your mom felt going through all this, because she went through a whole bunch. She still is alongside. So I applaud you and I celebrate you. There's a lot more to this young man's story. I really encourage you to get over to KingJaquell.com and check him out. Could you give us a little Jerry Springer final thought before we get out of here?
All right. I got 2 quotes for y'all. The first one is about unity. What makes a rainbow beautiful? Is it not the diversity of colors? Well, if that's true, is mankind's kryptonite trying to make one color better than the next? And if that happens, is it still a rainbow? I think not. So why are we destroying something that God created beautiful with invisible lines of hate? We're all 6 degrees of separation from loving each other. The question is, will we? And anytime I do speak, I always end with this quote.
Mm-hmm.
If you died today, would you get an A+ on life's report card? Think about it.
Heck yeah.
And
I do a lot of extra credit. I believe in extra credit, and that is being of service.
That part.
That's right. You may not have a dime to your name. You may not have any food in your fridge, any gas in your car. But if you have some compassion, some love, some light in your heart, you've got all it takes to change this world. Trust me, you guys. These are trying times, but they've always been. These are hard times, but they've always been. but we are all creating the history today that the world will grow from, learn from, and heal from for thousands of years. I want to thank you for being here. Jaquell, thank you so much. And your mom, thank you, Shirley Ann, for popping in. And thank all of you. I really do. I couldn't be who I am without what you do to help me be that person. Listen, let's agree to come back tomorrow. Could we? Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Central, I'll meet you guys, God willing, right out front on the front porch, where my guest tomorrow is Jamie Lane, one of our own. She's here tomorrow to talk about a lot. You don't want to miss it. I will see you 8 a.m. Jaquell, again, have a great day. Happy holidays, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow for your next episode of Bathrobe Moments.
Tune in, you guys.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need a space.